Between the end of World War II and the dawn of the Cold War, the United States launched a secret mission, one of history's most controversial bargains. Called Operation Paperclip, it brought Nazi scientists into America's highest priority programs, raising the unthinkable question: can scientific genius justify a moral compromise? In May 1945, with Germany's surrender, the world stood amid ruins. But a new battle was quietly beginning, not against an enemy on the field, but one for supremacy in science and technology. The U.S. and the Soviet Union raced not only for territory, but for brilliant minds. Operating in secret under the Joint Intelligence Objectives Agency, the U.S. scooped up over 1,600 German scientists and technicians, including many tied to the Nazi regime, to work in rocketry, aerospace medicine, and military tech. Among them, Wernher von Braun, the mind behind Germany's V-2 missile. In the U.S., he spearheaded development of the Redstone and ultimately the Saturn V, the rocket that took humanity to the moon. Hubertus Strughold, hailed as the father of space medicine, built America's early aerospace physiology. But later, allegations tied him to Nazi-era human experimentation. In Huntsville, Alabama, Germany's talented engineers built America's space infrastructure. George von Tiesenhausen designed the lunar roving vehicle used on Apollo 15 to 17. But these men were not just brilliant, they were complicit. Von Braun was an SS officer overseeing V-2 production using concentration camp labor, where thousands perished. To aid Cold War efforts, the U.S. internationally whitewashed or concealed their pasts, bypassing immigration laws and denying justice to victims. Was it a necessary evil or a betrayal of justice? Critics argue that technological gain came at the expense of moral accountability. In El Paso, the children of Nazi scientists were presented as symbols of democratic assimilation, even as local Mexican-American children faced segregation, revealing deep disparities in justice and education. Let's put faces on the names. Wernher von Braun, designer of the V-2, leader of U.S. rocketry and lunar missions. Arthur Rudolph, once a V-2 manager, later ran Saturn V development, but forced to renounce U.S. citizenship amid war crimes investigation. Hubertus Strughold, built aerospace medicine, but tarnished by links to Nazi medical experiments. The truth began emerging in the 1970s. Investigations revealed how Americans shielded men implicated in atrocities. Arthur Rudolph left the U.S., and Strughold's honors were later stripped. Operation Paperclip gave the U.S. an edge in space and defense, but its legacy is stained. The program stands as a haunting reminder. In times of existential threat, moral boundaries can erode. Were these scientists redeemable by their work? Or did America betray its values for advantage? The debate continues, and history still wrestles with Paperclip's Faustian bargain. In our quest for progress, how do we weigh genius against guilt? Operation Paperclip forces us to ask, what price are we willing to pay for triumph? Thank you for joining episode 3. If this raised questions for you, hit like, subscribe, and leave your thoughts below.